you and I are exchanging a lot of complex ideas and doing it very quickly. Um, but there, time is even more essential. You can't have confusion, and the circuits, the radio circuits aboard a ship can become clogged very quickly because it's not just two-way, like between you and I now. It may be four or five-way. So if you're going to get on the circuit, you have to convey information very quickly and very precisely. You don't want to have to repeat it. And so there's language that they develop. It's an extension of an existing language. How do you say ranges? There's a very particular way to talk about ranges. There's a very particular way to talk about a radar contact, right? Is it a surface radar contact or an aerial radar contact? Different languages for the two, and all of that. And it has to be developed because initially it's a little bit more fluid, particularly when it comes to radar. There's an example, I think I said it in the book, where during one of the battles, one of the ships refers to a surface radar contact as a bogey, and other ships that hear that think it's talking about an aerial contact, because for them, a bogey meant an airplane, not not a surface ship. And so confusion immediately. And then there are other terms that are sufficiently imprecise that also cause some confusion.
Right, the use of Roger. What was that? I can't remember the precise phrase, but yeah,
exactly. So this is actually the same battle. It's the Battle of Cape Esperance, and Rear Admiral Norman Scott is commanding the American group of ships, and he has not noticed, because he's on a properly equipped flagship, but it doesn't have the most sophisticated radars, a cruiser San Francisco. So he hasn't fully become aware of the fact that there's a Japanese formation that's bearing down on him. The Japanese have not sighted the American ships yet, or have not recognized them as enemy yet. And the gunners and the captain of cruiser Helena, some distance farther back, knows what's going on, sees the Japanese ships. The gunners have them in their sights. And so at the time, Roger had two meanings. It was a code word for opening fire, and it was also a way that you could acknowledge the receipt of a message. So the captain of Helena sends to San Francisco, essentially, hey, can I open fire? But the way they say it is, interrogatory Roger. They're basically, I'm asking for permission to open fire. That's what that means. That's what that means to them. Board San Francisco, radio operators receive it, and they want to send back message received. So they send back Roger. And that comes back to Helena, and they're like, we got permission, open up. And they do. And so from the back of the American line, these cruisers begin to open fire. And, because the gunners in San Francisco also have seen these targets and are also ready to open fire, they start shooting too, because, then the ship next to us started shooting. So let's get going. And Scott is thrown for a loop. What is going on? I didn't give permission to open fire. Well, you did. You didn't mean to, but your command system did.